The Washington football team heads north to play the Buffalo Bills. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here from NFL Live to pick this game. RC, who are you taking?
I'm taking the Buffalo Bills. When you look at this team, they've actually been really good defensively through the first two games. And offensively, Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs seem to come along against the Miami Dolphins. This team, the Buffalo Bills, still needs to get on track. They still need to get back to where they were last year. But looking at them facing the Washington football team, I think that defense and Josh Allen will be a little bit too much for the Washington football team to overcome.
Taylor Heineke versus Josh Allen, the quarterback matchup none of us were expecting come week 3, but here we are, and RC has the Bills. It's the Browns and the Bears on Sunday. It's Field Yates and Ryan Clark here right now to pick this game. And RC, we cannot wait to see Justin Fields make his starting debut. But do you believe he'll lead the Bears to victory?
Listen, this won't be the debut that Justin Fields wanted because I believe the Cleveland Browns win this game. Listen, when Myles Garrett is rushing you, when Denzel Ward is on the outside, and you have a host of offensive players for the Cleveland Browns that are ready and prepared to compete in the AFC, I don't necessarily know if this is where the rookie wants to start. I expect Justin Fields to play well. I think this game will be close, but in the end, Justin Fields' debut will be spoiled by Odell Beckham Jr.'s return, and the Cleveland Browns take the dub.
You mentioned Nick Chubb, and by the way, he has 8 straight games with a rushing touchdown. If he makes it 9, it'll tie the longest streaks, and Sean Alexander did so back from 2005 to 2006. It's the Ravens and the Lions, two teams coming off of prime-time games in Week 2. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this game. RC, the Ravens are riding high. Can they make it 2 in a row against Detroit?
I believe the Ravens get this one. And listen, there are two teams coming off of primetime games, but there's only one primetime team, and that's the Baltimore Ravens. When you saw what Lamar Jackson was able to do in overcoming the adversity of all the injuries for the Baltimore Ravens and finally getting that win against the Kansas City Chiefs, I think that propels this team going forward with some confidence, understanding that they can win as long as Lamar Jackson is their quarterback. And I don't care what you say, it's very hard to bite kneecaps that you can't catch, and Lamar Jackson's are some of the hardest kneecaps to catch in the entire NFL.
Come on now, RC. You got to do that to my guy, Dan Campbell. But the Lions could be in for one of those long seasons. It's about more than just wins and losses. They're looking for just progress. It's a divisional matchup in the AFC South with the Colts and the Titans. RC, the Colts are 0-2. They are desperate for a win on Sunday. Can they get it?
Listen, the Colts are going to make it 0-3 because I'm picking the Tennessee Titans. Magically, the Tennessee Titans remembered who they were in the second half against the Seattle Seahawks last week. They realized, you know what, we're a power football team. They realized King Henry is one of the best running backs in the NFL. And when we start that way, Ryan Tannehill can now make plays in the passing game. I think the Tennessee Titans take this game with physicality, sound defense, and a quarterback that makes the plays when the other quarterback may be on the sideline.
Yeah, plenty of confidence built for Tennessee in Week 2. Julio Jones looked great, and Ryan Tannehill was like, let me just give the ball to 22 and let him do the heavy lifting. It's Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick the Chiefs and the Chargers game. RC, this game is being played in Kansas City, and the Chiefs did something last week they don't often do. They lost. Will they lose again in Week 3?
The Chiefs will not. The Chiefs will win this game. Listen, Kansas City at Arrowhead is one of the toughest places to play in this league, but I do believe that Justin Herbert will be up for it. And I know the Los Angeles Chargers are ascending. They have young stars on offense and defense, but the Kansas City Chiefs don't lose in September until last week. So you better believe that Patrick Mahomes will want to avenge that loss. He will want to make sure that late interception that he had against the Baltimore Ravens isn't what we remember about him. I expect an explosion from the Chiefs offensively, and they find a way to win this game and resurrect or get back on track as to what we're used to seeing them be in September.
You know the crowd will be rocking there in Arrowhead Stadium, noon Arrowhead time on Sunday. We've got new eras at quarterback for the Patriots and the Saints. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this matchup on Sunday up at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. RC, who are you taking?
I'm taking the New England Patriots. I think Bill Belichick wins the Bill Parcells Bowl against Sean Payton. It's going to be a great chess match of defense versus Jameis Winston versus that offensive line of Sean Payton's. But I just feel like the New England Patriots have too much defense. And Mac Jones has done an amazing job of doing exactly what he is asked to do and allowing the run game to win the football game for the New England Patriots. No mistakes, great defense, great coaching, competent quarterback play gets the win for the New England Patriots.
Feels like one of those games. We're going to learn a lot about both of these teams and just where they stand within the NFL after just 2 weeks. Not quite sure we know exactly who each is. Week 3 of the NFL season pits Danny Dimes against Matty Ice. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick the Giants versus the Falcons game, a matchup of 0-2 squads. RC, who gets their first win of the season?
Listen, I think Danny Dimes wins the nickname Super Bowl between him and Matty Ice. When you look at this New York Giants team, they play extremely tough, and that's what you expect from a team led by a guy like Joe Judge. But it was mistakes that derailed this team against Washington last week. They've had a little bit of extra time to prepare, a little more time to be upset that they lost the game that they should have won, and the Atlanta Falcons are coming off of a tough and grueling game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I expect Joe Judge to find a way to get this team to make those plays late in this football game and finally get a win. Arthur Smith, he'll still be looking for win number 1.
Perhaps the Giants can get Saquon Barkley rolling as well after a relatively slow start to the season. It's always fun when you have 2 AFC North teams squaring off. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick the Steelers and the Bengals matchup, a matchup of 1-1 teams. RC, who gets to 2-1 this Sunday?
I'm going to pick the Pittsburgh Steelers probably because of this helmet that is sitting behind me to my left. But the Pittsburgh Steelers are struggling, and the Cincinnati Bengals are coming off of a very tough loss to the Chicago Bears. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers understand, and offensive coordinator Matt Canada gets it, that they have to start running a ball. This is the week to start, and on the outside, you expect Claypool and Juju Smith-Schuster to make plays, pressure Joe Burrow on the defensive side of the football, maybe get him in some of those turnover situations we saw last week, and that's the way the Pittsburgh Steelers find a way to win. We have to keep Ben Roethlisberger healthy, and if they can do that, they get another dub, and they keep moving forward.
And that Steelers defense is just so overwhelming, a huge challenge for that Bengals offensive line that has been just okay to start the season. It's 2 teams that have used the number 1 overall pick on a quarterback in the last 3 drafts. That means the Arizona Cardinals travel to play the Jacksonville Jaguars. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to make the game pick. And RC, I don't even know if Urban Meyer can count to 3 losses. Will he get his 3rd loss of the season on Sunday?
He absolutely will, because Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals are playing at such a high level offensively, and defensively they've done just enough to win these first 2 games. You obviously dominate against the Tennessee Titans, then you have a tough win over the Minnesota Vikings, but the Jacksonville Jaguars are struggling. The Jacksonville Jaguars are a team that is trying to find itself under the leadership of Urban Meyer, and this ain't the week they're going to be found. Arizona Cardinals win big in Jacksonville.
You heard it right here first. Seriously, I don't know if Urban Meyer's ever lost 3 games in a season. Trevor Lawrence certainly has not. That could become the case on Sunday. People forget that for a minute, Teddy Bridgewater was a New York Jet. That's right, a revenge game as Teddy Bridgewater and the Broncos play the New York Jets in Week 3. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this matchup. RC, the Jets had some struggles in Week 2. Will the Denver Broncos defense give them fits like the Patriots did last Sunday?
Absolutely. The Jets are going to have trouble again this week. When you look at this Denver Broncos team, they can rush the passer. They're great on the back end, but it's also offensively where they are turning heads. Teddy Bridgewater has gone from a game manager to a dude that will push the football down the field with Noah Fant, with Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler. It's been so exciting to watch his maturation process happen so quickly there. The Denver Broncos may be a team to contend with down the stretch, but they're definitely a team that's going to get the win against the New York Jets. More growing pains for Zach Wilson and his new team.
Yeah, 0-2 for the Jets right now. A season that really is about the bigger picture, though, in New York. Meanwhile, Denver tries to be a sneaky playoff contender. Raiders and Dolphins in Week 3. Las Vegas is 2-0, just like we all predicted. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to predict this game. And RC, the Dolphins are turning to Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. Can they pull the upset?
No, they won't pull the upset. I'm expecting the Las Vegas Raiders to go 3-0. They've been playing great defense under Gus Bradley, rushing the passer at an extremely high clip, also making plays on the back end. But this is really about Derek Carr and what he's done offensively. Over 400 yards in the first game, 380 in the second game against a very good Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and making clutch throws and clutch plays, showing leadership as well. I think that this team could be on its way to making the turn that John Gruden was hired to make. Las Vegas Raiders go 3-0, and they are in contention in the AFC.
A lot of expectations for the Raiders over each of the past few years. They seem to finally be meeting them. Tom Brady has been playing forever, but he has never played an NFL game in Los Angeles. That changes on Sunday. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick the Rams and the Buccaneers game. Can the Bucs keep up their hot streak, RC? It feels like they have not lost in about a decade.
Listen, this is a tough game, but the Los Angeles Rams will take it. This is such an important game for the Matthew Stafford-Sean McVay relationship. He was acquired because they wanted to see if a new quarterback could take them to the next level. Well, the next level is where Tom Brady has sat his entire career. And so now they get a chance with Matthew Stafford to show that he can go blow for blow, play for play with one of the game's all-time greats. I believe this defense, this run game, the creativity of Sean McVay, and the talent of Matthew Stafford get the Los Angeles Rams this huge win and put them atop the NFC as we start this season.
RC, this feels like a measuring stick game for the Rams on Sunday. We'll find out just how real their real is against the defending champs. It is Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks against the Minnesota Vikings in Week 3. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this game. RC, the Seahawks have looked great, as usual, on offense so far this year, but their defense, a work in progress after what we saw in Week 2. Will they improve to 2-1 on Sunday?
You know, I believe they will. It's always a great matchup when you watch these two teams play. But Russell Wilson, after hearing what Pete Carroll had to say about him in overtime, hoping that he could just get them a play, I believe he comes out and plays with his hair on fire. I believe that Shane Waldron, the new offensive coordinator, will get back to running the football so the play-action game could be explosive as it was in the first game against the Colts and the first half against the Tennessee Titans. Defense will make just enough plays. I expect Jamal Adams to put pressure on the quarterback in the blitz and find ways to make enough plays for the Seattle Seahawks to come home with the win.
Minnesota is desperate. If they fall to 0-3, there will be plenty of uproar in Minnesota about a season that should have been so much better to start, and yet here we are. While California is home for Aaron Rodgers, it's also been kind of a nightmare for him in his recent NFL games out there. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick the 49ers and the Green Bay Packers, who play on Sunday night. RC, can the Packers find their way in California, which recently has not been the case?
You know, I think the 49ers win this, and it's not because I believe the 49ers are this great team or they are what they were 2 years ago. I think that run game and this defense find a way to do enough in order to beat the Green Bay Packers. I don't believe it'll be the nightmare it has been for Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers, but I do believe there'll be enough terror calls defensively that the Green Bay Packers fall just short of the San Francisco 49ers, and Kyle Shanahan and his team move on to 3-0.
The 49ers have been on the road in the first 2 weeks of the season. They've been down several players due to injury, and we have found out they're a very, very tough squad. It's Monday Night Football on ESPN, of course. It's the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this game, a big one in the NFC East. Two teams at 1-1. RC, who you got in this matchup?
You know what? I have the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott has been playing at such an extremely high level, and Dan Quinn has the Dallas Cowboys defense looking at least competent after having one of the historically worst seasons defensively that I've ever seen. And so now you have an alpha male at quarterback. You have a run game that is picked up now that it's a two-headed monster. And Kellen Moore doing an excellent job as the offense coordinator of putting this offense in the best positions to succeed. I think that continues this week. The Dallas Cowboys move to 2-1 and really get a stronghold on this division.
Yeah, the Cowboys looking to improve to 2-1 at home as well, which would be huge for them playing at Jerry's World, where they always seem most comfortable.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.